for our final team presentation, Team Sonic Jets, presenting their app, CultureConnect. Welcome, Team Sonic Jets.
Hello everyone. Our team the Sonic Jets present to you CultureConnect under the theme New Approaches to Learning and Work. Hello, I'm Samuel Guzman.
Hi, I'm Tatiana Lindsay.
Hello, I'm Esteban Cupides.
And I am Jason Childs.
In a world of many diverse cultures and languages, many children often enter an environment where their main language is not spoken. This can lead to feelings of exclusion, low self-esteem, anxiety, and stress. Coming to the US at the young age of 13 years old, I knew the basics of English, but of course, that wasn't enough to be able to interact with my environment or with my neighbors. This made me feel stressed and anxious because I didn't know what was happening around me or what was being said around me. Next slide, please. And because we know this is happening to many children around the world, we aim to enhance the feelings of inclusion and self-esteem to the many interactive functions our app has, which aim to help the children to interact with their environment. Not only that, but it also aims to help the children to collaborate with their peers and therefore make strong connections with them. And now Tatiana Lindsay with the target audience.
Thank you, Samuel. So our target audience are children aged 4 to 12 years old who are from immigrant communities who are struggling to adapt in school due to language barriers. We feel that enabling these children to learn a new language while establishing interactive relationships empowers not only them, but also their families to have a better grasp of the language and culture in the surrounding environment. Esteban will now talk about our features and give a demo of our app.
So, to make our target audience feel more confident and accepted, we plan on targeting the cultural and language barriers they face with cooperative language learning games, a quick translations tool, and an AI teacher. Up next is a demo of our app.
We are going to begin by demonstrating our current language learning games. For both of the games shown on the screen, the main idea is that two students of different backgrounds will have to cooperate to win the game. However, we made it so each student has to guess the language of the other. So, for instance, on the game on screen, the English-speaking student is given words in Spanish to draw, and the Spanish-speaking student has to guess the drawing in English. The collaborative style of the games encourages students to look past their differences and enjoy each other's company to succeed, while simultaneously teaching the other person's language. Next up, we have the Quick Translations tool, where students can use voice and text inputs. This feature allows students to translate whatever they need without having to leave the app. However, for questions that require more thought and consideration, the AI teacher will be the go-to choice. We'll expand on that later. For now, Tatiana will talk about our market analysis.
Thank you once again, Esteban. From our market analysis, we discovered that competitive apps focus more on learning the language and not on the other challenges that may come with it. For example, a Spanish or French-speaking student may know English, but still be afraid to speak simply because of their accent or because they feel uncomfortable in their environment. As such, we developed CultureConnect with similar struggles in mind. As you see on my chart, CultureConnect, when compared with 4 other language learning apps, all have language learning in common. But more than this, CultureConnect delves into incorporating cooperative learning, a free AI teacher assistant, a live translation feature, gamified rewards, and cultural integration. It is our hope that combining these features will help us to actualize our goal of education, inclusion, and interaction. As a way to implement our app, we hope to get aid from grants and sponsors, and we want to deploy this app in school communities and school districts. We hope that teachers will help to promote the usage of this app in their classroom in order to facilitate the building of social and interactive relationships. Next slide, please. So for our market research, one specific question we asked our users was if they had used language learning apps before and how they felt about these apps. As you can see from our pie chart, majority suggested that these apps were good but could have been better, or okay but not helpful. No one thought these apps were absolutely amazing. And as such, therefore we came to the conclusion that there is definitely need for improvement. And we hope that CultureConnect can be able to facilitate some of these improvements. Next, Jason will tell us more about our AI innovations.
Thank you, Tatiana.
We have incorporated an AI teacher into our app. We know that it is sometimes difficult for teachers to give personal attention to every student in the classroom, especially if that student has difficulties communicating. Our ChatGPT-based AI teacher function will provide teaching assistance to students who may need help translating, answering general questions about language, or simply finding the right word. ChatGPT is a large language model. These models are trained with various forms of writing and text, which is then used to make word connections, stringing sentences together. We hope to keep our incorporations of AI fair by removing diagnostic data about students, such as names, ethnicities, and countries of origin. Our students will only be allowed to ask language-related questions and will not be allowed to create an account or upload personally identifiable information. While we believe that this start is enough to protect our students in their interactions together online, we are also committed to tweaking our approach to AI models like ChatGPT so that CultureConnect remains ethical. Given more time to develop, we intend to add an adaptability to our games along with a broader range of classroom games. We want the difficulty of provided prompts to increase as students become more comfortable with their given language. This will allow them to not only grow in their own knowledge of their new language, but also allow CultureConnect to advance beyond the early learning age demographic. Given that language learning games are what allow our students to connect, we also intend to provide support for other common languages like French and Chinese. Thank you, MIT RAISE, thank you, SureStart, and thank you to our panel. And thank you everyone for listening to our presentation. We will now open the floor for questions.
Well, I have the opportunity to facilitate a session tomorrow on driving school cultures. I wonder if you could do it instead. Two quick questions for you. Thriving school cultures start in classrooms. How does your app create a thriving school culture in your eyes that fosters that sense of what we want every classroom to be?
So, as you know, the U.S. is a very diverse country, and that means the schools are very diverse. Sometimes this diversity can create barriers between people because they can't connect with each other properly, thereby dividing the schools. With this app, we can remove that barrier from schools, from the country, and unite more people and create in your case, a stronger school spirit.
And it's also very important to note that these are students interacting with other students, right? These are physical, tangible connections with people who can look each other in the eye and connect, right? But you're just using our AI function to enhance that connection between students, but the physical in-classroom connection is still there.
I also want to add what my teammates have said. While developing this app, we also thought about future projections. Like, once we get the fact where we could get them to cooperate with each other, it could further in the future avoid things like bullying or, you know, racism talks or stuff like that. And we wanted to be able to start from an early age in order to like implement these in their mindset as they grow along, that it's okay for somebody else to talk different or sound different from you, and they can still have great ideas that are really useful in whatever you want to do.
Final question. I love your ethical piece of data privacy and your market analysis, your slides to conclude. I wonder that a market analysis piece, what brings you the most amount of pride when you look at the gaps you're filling with your design versus what you learned in the market?
Okay, so for me, interaction and inclusion is a big thing because sometimes when you're in a classroom, you could have some students feeling left out, and leaving somebody out is the potential of leaving out a brilliant idea or a brilliant mind. And we don't want anyone to ever feel as though, you know, they're being left behind simply because of something that they can't change, something that's better to them genetically or because of where they're from. And so because we're filling this gap, it makes me feel so much joy to know that we're giving a student the opportunity to be included in something that, you know, once before they would have been excluded from that.
And adding on to that, coming here when I was 9 years old, that was a big struggle I had in school. Like everything looked like Spanish, but nothing was Spanish. Everything was English, and I was often left out and kind of isolated. This app will make sure that in the future that doesn't happen to as many people. Hopefully, no way again.
Well done, teams. Are we all walking away feeling so inspired? Are we all feeling a little better about our futures?